This is the first episode of the Tiny Tavern, where friends talk about stuff, everything. So we have GoZuPT, a great eternal streamer, with us today, and we're gonna talk about card games. How are you doing, GoZu?
All right, how are you doing, guys?
We're pretty good.
Yeah,
Theo?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. You didn't even introduce me though. What is this? What is this garbage? What is this garbage? Literally half of this podcast, and you didn't even introduce me. All right, I'm Theo. This is Bard, and yeah, we're doing a podcast, Tiny Tavern.
Theo doesn't need introductions. Everyone knows Theo.
I want to ask something first, because I've been having problems with this, and it's a new thing in my life. And you are much more experienced and better equipped and better prepared to deal with this issue. And I'm sure that you already know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea.
It's your magnificent beard. So I've never had a beard before, and this is the first time I've grown one, and I feel like it's, even though for me it's insanely long, I'm half of the magnificence of your beard. So how do you do any special things? Should I be like buying oils and ointments? Like, do you?
Oh, I don't do any of that. I know people who do that, who use some oils to make it smoother. But actually, I'm lucky because it's all natural. The only thing I do is wash it with shampoo, like when I wash my hair.
So
I also
lucky.
wash my beard.
My beard is so scratchy all the time, and like I'm so lazy. I don't ever shave it. I'm sure that's the same case with all of us, right? We've just decided, well, that 5 minutes in the morning that we're gonna spend shaving, we just cut that out from our lives entirely, and then we're good. Except for now, it's become a problem. It's become a problem essentially at this point. I think we can all.
I don't know, just try maybe using some conditioner, like the one you use for your hair. That usually makes it very smooth.
I
At
don't
least mine,
use
I
a
don't know.
conditioner for my hair. I just
Okay,
use shampoo.
okay, so that might be the problem, because if you like, I have long hair as well, right? My hair is shaved on the sides, but on the top it's pretty long. It's over my shoulders now. If I don't use conditioner, my hair gets all tangled up, like
Yeah, mine
just
too.
forms
But
a lot of knots.
the problem is with me, maybe this is a little too gross, but I get dandruff problems, so I have a special type of shampoo. But it has a little bit of conditioner in it, but I don't think enough, right? But it's medicated, so it like there's a burning sensation in your head, but there's no like gross dandruff afterward. Like you get dry scalp and whatnot, but like maybe the viewers, maybe that was a little too much. I don't know. Viewers didn't want the viewers slash listeners want to. Maybe that's too much personality. My personal issues, but yeah, the reason why I cannot shave, all right, and is because my cat really loves rubbing up against my beard, and she gets really pissed off for a few days when I shave. So I mean, you gotta if you have pets, you know, out there, you know what I'm talking about. You gotta
Yeah.
kowtow to all your pets, whatever needs they have.
Doing it for the kittens. Well,
Actually, one thing I wanted to ask you, Gosu, I think you own a store, right? Or at least you work at a card game store, right?
No, I never did.
Oh.
We own a hostel, so it's like a very small hotel, right? So that's the business we're in.
Oh, okay.
Like, me and my wife's family, because I'm living with my wife, right? And her family lives nearby, and we have a hostel.
do you like greet people in the hostel?
I used to. I don't go there that much anymore. Like when I first came to Brazil 2 years ago, I was working there. So when I came here, I was working there. But not much anymore.
Oh, and
Like,
then
sometimes I go there, but just to hang out with people.
So you
Like with the
ended up
family.
marrying your boss?
No, not really. No, not really. She just happened to give me. So she was in Portugal. She was studying there. She was finishing her master's degree at the time. And then she invited me over and she offered me a job so I would spend. It was to be 3 months, but it's been 2 years now, and we ended up marrying.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Belatedly.
Yeah, thanks.
I think we should talk about card games. People would love
Yeah.
hearing Gozu talk about card games. So,
What are your thoughts about this new game we've all kind of fallen in love with? This new game called Legends of Runeterra, I think it's called. Yep. Yeah, that card. Game.
I love the game. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. I like the mechanics. I feel like it's way less influenced by luck than other card games like Eternal or Magic.
thank you so much for saying this.
Well,
or even Hearthstone, because there's a lot less random in Runeterra. At the same time, that can be a problem since it ends up leading a bit to more repetition, more of the same game, right? But I like it so far.
in Runeterra, if you think that they have it, they always have it because it's fairly consistent. Like if you think they have a back to back, like they're going to have the back to back.
Yeah,
Like,
but the thing that makes it, in my opinion, really a game of skill is the fact that for every card you play, unless it's burst, your opponent can play a card. So he can never play 2 cards in a row. He doesn't get to play 2 units in a row, right? He plays a unit, then you can play a unit. So you can always kind of save the stuff you need to save or pressure with the stuff you need to pressure. You know exactly what's coming up. There's not going to be a rush of things coming up, right? So, for example, when you were attacking, if you play a combat trick, then you get to wait and see what's going to happen with that combat before you pass the turn. And if your opponent does something, you also get a turn back. So that's really nice. I
really do like the priority system in the game. It's very the first week or whatever with the combat system, and I guess I didn't really spend a lot of time on Terra the first week because of the QCPs, right? But coming from games where you can just play all your stuff at once, right? You can just like Eternal, you can play like a bunch of cards in a row or Hearthstone, right? And Magic's not like that either, right? You can when you play a card, your opponent can respond with the card, but your opponent can't respond with a unit. So I describe it as kind of 5-head, I guess.
I think the really cool thing about Runeterra is that it takes like the best things out of every other card game we've had so far, and it builds up on this. And I've said this on stream, and some people are sick of hearing it, but if you haven't heard it, I'll say it again. So I think the best keyword in any card game out there in terms of satisfying you as a player is charge or haste or however it's called. Like, everyone loves playing charge unit. It's super fun. Everyone wants to play the unit and have it immediately do stuff and impact the board, and it feels great. It feels super rewarding. And the only reason that Summoning Sickness exists in the first place is because it makes the game easier to balance around. So like initially the games were like incredibly hard to balance.
Also because of the way the game works, right? In Runeterra you don't really have your turn and your opponent's turn. It's always both players' turn. It's like rounds, right?
Yes.
And
that's
if you
Gwent,
play a unit, like
right?
Every unit has charge basically. Every unit can enter the board and attack. But your opponent can play a unit before you get to attack. You don't get to play a unit and attack before your opponent gets to play a unit. So
yeah, but that being said, keywords like elusive, the flying mechanic from Runeterra, become a lot more powerful when you have everything having charge, right? Because it's less likely that they're going to have a way to block it if they're not playing for
well, that's
example
where
elusives,
removal
right? So,
comes in play.
Yeah, but the removal in Runeterra is not very good right now. I actually kind of like when removal isn't as good because it makes combat more effective, right?
Yes, that's
And
very true.
and also the single block system. Although I'm still not quite sure about single block versus double blocking, right? Double blocking means that combat's a little more difficult to figure out, but single blocking allows spells that you can play to make it makes them much more effective. So that means that the information that's not available to both players, or to your opponent, or vice versa, right? That becomes much more important. Trying to figure out what's in your opponent's hand, and that's one of the most skill testing parts of card games, right? So that is something that Legends of Runeterra does very, very well.
Just love that game. Like, I don't.
You,
Then
you
again,
just like it because you automatically can get mana every turn. I think I think the mana system, sure, it reduces variance, but sometimes variance is good because it makes you have to think on your feet when things don't go your way and things are right. There is a give and take. Obviously, it's nice to be able to play all your cards every single turn, but sometimes it's not as good for that to happen, because then, like, once you can play your card, it feels much more rewarding, right?
I think
If you miss out too many turns, it's bad. If you miss out too many turns, it is bad, and it feels bad, and non-games suck. But like, if you're missing out like maybe two turns on your mana, and then you're finally able to play it, you get excited because you can finally play your card. Like, I don't know, the things like that can be effective in card games, but it is true that it feels bad when things go wrong.
I understand your point, but I will make an analogy that it's like it's an unnecessary part of the whole playing your deck thing. You can just play your deck like the same way that, you know, MOBAs have a different way of minigaming in them. So in Dota you have last hitting and denying. In League you have last hitting, but you don't have denying. In Heroes of the Storm you don't have neither. Like there's no denying, there's no last hitting. So it's like in card games you can have sigils or lands and then have to deal with this on top of playing your deck and like figuring out spells and how you're gonna attack and the combat. Or you can just make the game lighter and have all that thinking done in the other parts of the game, like in the spells and the combat parts. And I just, you know, I guess it's,
I mean, Heroes of the Storm is not as successful.
oh no,
Games,
I'm
for
not.
sure.
Yes, I'm not saying that Heroes of the Storm is a pillar of
Well,
like
what do you?
that was not my point. My point was that like in card games, I definitely like it more. That's true. I do love the mana system, but I don't love it because you get mana automatically every turn. I love it because of the spell mana. I think the spell mana is genius.
Spell mana is really nice.
It allows it allows you as a control deck to come back against a god hand from an aggro player, which I think is it's
you say that, but I mean, that will be the case once there's more balance. But like, there are some ridiculous things that the aggro decks can do in Runeterra.
Yeah, the thing about aggro in Runeterra, aggro and aggressive mid-range, is that it kind of feels like you draw 2 cards every turn,
yeah.
because you don't get to attack on your opponent's turn, or on you only attack 1 in every 2 rounds, but you always draw cards and can play units. So
It feels
also,
really good.
you're either going to be playing fearsome units or elusive units, and
Yep.
and then you can push for lethal very fast. Also, the fact that you can get over 20 points of life makes aggro good in that game, I think.
Yeah. I agree so much. Like, wow. all those points. I think like, and the balance is just perfect. Like it's crazy how often my games end with one of the players being on 1 HP, and like the whole game being decided by 2 or 3 decisions that we've made that were us trying to read into each other or wait, for the other player to make a mistake. Like, there's so much reading, and
Also, the way the combat works, it makes it very easy to survive on low HP, because before the damage goes off, right? You always have a stop to say something, right? You get to see what's gonna happen before the combat ends, and you can always do something unless you don't have anything. If you don't have anything, you can't do anything, right? But if you have something, you can just block in a way that you survive, and you can then attack for a little next turn. At least from my perspective, which I've been playing mostly elusives, that's how most games end, right? I just block in a way that I'm not dying. I pass a turn back. If he does something, then I get to do something. If he doesn't, I'm fine, right? And then we get to attack next turn and just try to open attack for a little. And fearsome works pretty much the same.
you run
Yeah.
rally.
I don't run rally.
What colors are you playing with?
Ionia, Demacia,
That's so nice.
but I don't run rally.
I run one rally, and I love it so much.
I like back to back. Back to back is the card.
Oh yeah, I like both. Yeah, run both.
Yeah, at some point, I found the versions that I was running had too many spells in them, and I had to cut down because I was drawing just not enough units in one. But then again, I'm playing mostly Heimer and losing a lot, so because I can't, I'm bad at the game.
The deck doesn't even need that many spells. What are the spells that I run? I run 3 back to back and 2
Standalone.
disciplines. I don't run standalone. It's very bad in the deck. I run 9 1-drops. I run 3 Fleet Feather Trackers, 3 Navari Blade Scout, and 3 Inspiring Mentors. So my plan is just to, the best openers get to win on turn 5, basically, with a back-to-back.
Sounds like I should try your deck.
If you open with the Inspiring Mentor into the guy that bounces the Mentor, Navari Conspirator, it's pretty hard to lose. Because by turn, if you are on the draw, let's say, if you attack on round 2, you are attacking for 4, and usually you are attacking for like 7 or 8.
I love how you just assume that you get Inspiring Mentor every game. You're like, well, if you're on the draw, you just attack for 4.
Think about this. If you don't have the mentor, you might be on the play and have Blade Scout, and you attack for 2, and then on 3 you attack for 5, and then on 5 you just win, basically. Because you can push little. You can play another elusive during your opponent's turn, and on your turn you just open attack with back-to-back. And there's pretty much nothing they can do on turn 5 to stop that. All the spell damages don't kill your units because of the back-to-back, and it's too early for them to be playing Vengeance unless they haven't done anything. And if they haven't done anything, you don't need to go for little. You just attack, push some more damage, and then you wait.
I mean, I suppose Grasp is something you do sometimes.
Grasp doesn't kill your units because
right.
of...
well, yeah, they're back-to-back. Yeah.
It saves them 3 points of life. That might be enough, but if they spend the card there in the whole turn just to get 3 points of life, they are not getting anywhere. Yeah.
That's some.
I mean,
good
those
strategy.
are kind of the nut draws.
You're not running Fioras, right? You're not running. You sound like you're not running any champion.
I run Zed. Zed is very good.
Yeah, I agree. Same. He either kills them or he turtles the game for you hard enough for you to just bowl them with.
Yeah, I only run Zed because that's basically 2 units, and they usually don't block the Shadow or don't block the Zed. They just block 1, so pretty much every time it passes some damage. And if he gets bigger, like if he gets to be a 4-3 and then levels, it's very hard to stop him.
Do you just immediately go for the inspire buff on the Navori conspirator, or if you have a Zed in hand,
Oh,
or do you just go for Zed?
If I have the conspirator, I always go for the conspirator.
Interesting.
Okay.
I very often go for the dead. Maybe that's
Maybe
where
that's,
that's where my losses come from. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Because I always think a 4 attack unit quick draw unit is just impossible to deal with. Whereas a lot of units have 4 HP in the early game,
If
so
you
they have a
buff
Will of Ionia and
Zed one time, it's still very easy to deal with. Like Brittle still kills your Zeds. It's
Oh,
very
true.
sad when that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, and there's a
Any
lot of that
barriers-
Ash deck running around, isn't there?
Yeah, I tried the Ash deck the other day. It's very good. The Ash deck is amazing as well.
oh, is
Yeah,
it?
I'm thinking
Okay.
about crafting the Ash instead of the. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you like it
Instead
more
of
than
what?
your elusive deck?
Not really. It's slower, right? It's very good. It's more mid-range. The elusive it's aggro. So with elusives, you don't give as much space for your opponent to do his thing. While with dash, you do give them space, but you have better answers.
Fair.
So you let your opponent do their stuff, but you just answer their stuff and also do your stuff. And usually after a big assessor, you just have too much for them to deal with.
So where do you see elusives going? Like, do you think they're maybe a little bit overpowered? Because, you know, unless your opponent is also running elusive, it's very hard to deal with you.
That's one thing I've heard people say, that they are like overpushed, that it's frustrating to deal with them. But the thing is, there are 3 colors that have elusives, like the best ones are in Ionia. But if you run some elusive, it's like if you're playing a card game and the opponent has units that can block and attack, and your own units can only attack, they can't block, you're in a big disadvantage. So you should run some elusives. I think that's why some lists, some Shadow Wild lists run Shadow Assassin, for example, and I kind of like that.
Yep, same.
I would even go as far as running Kinko Lifeblade as well, because it's a very good card on its own. And if you have some buffs, then you can deal with the other elusives. It's like if you're playing Eternal, I think pretty much every deck ends up having some flyers. Like if you think, for example, Expedition.
Yeah,
has
you always have some
flyers.
sort of dragon or something like that. Yeah, in your deck, or that just
Like-
randomly like carve it or something, right?
Yeah, you either have Carvet, or you have Eclipse Dragon, or you have the Griffin, or you have Valkyries. So it ends up always having flyers because they are good.
Yeah,
You can attack over
usually-
the other units and they can also block. So flying is never a disadvantage unless the stats are too small. In case of Runeterra, the stats are not that small. They are on pair with the other stuff, so it's fine. I don't think it's overpowered. I think the other colors that don't have any elusive should probably have some, and that would make it a bit better.
That's what
But
I was
since
gonna
you-
say, yeah. Like, the way that you would easily fix it is by adding like 2 elusive units to each color, so that people have the option of running those units in their deck if they choose that. Like, if they see that the meta is oversaturated with elusives, like I think it is right now. Like, right now you only meet spiders, the mid-range Shadow Isles deck that finishes off with Hecarim, and elusives. I think these are the 3 extremely prevalent decks on the ladder right now.
Yeah, I mean, spiders has kind of fallen off a little bit. I think it's not that great anymore, especially because at first it was the deck that kept elusives in check, but I think in the meantime elusives has gotten the advantage in that match. At least in my case, I don't have many problems against spiders whatsoever.
Now, are we talking about the Hecarim Spiders deck, or are we talking about the Aggro Spiders deck?
Both of them actually. They are not that bad of a match because they have 0 ways to block your units. They don't run any elusives, and you can still block
Right.
their units.
That's
Even
exactly
if your
what
units
I've
are
been.
small, you can still play back to back defensively, block, and then just try to grind out a little bit, and then you end up winning because you can still keep attacking.
Yeah, I've been telling Theo that this Hecarim deck is just not that good against elusives because you can.
It was great for a while. It was actually great for a while.
Oh, was it?
Kind of busted. Yeah, it felt busted.
When the I mean, I didn't put the deck together. I did it way after it was hot, actually. But when it was hot, there was nothing to stop it. The elusive lists there. Actually, I didn't have too much problems, but that was me because I saw a lot of people running over elusives with Shadow Isles. Most of the elusive decks were not as aggressive as the one I was playing with the 9/1 drops. And one thing I felt is that the Conspirator without a lot of 1 drops is kind of bad. You when you have it, you always want to play with Tom 2. And if you don't have a 1 drop, then it's really bad because you're gonna have to bounce something to play him.
Yeah.
And you're gonna lose
I'm running
tempo.
6 of mine. That's still only like 65% or something like that. 65 or 70% to have by turn 1, the 1 drop at least. So it's still not a guarantee to have the Novordi Conspirator. Yeah, maybe I should run 9 1 drops. For sure.
Which ones do you run? You run the Bird with Challenger and Mentor.
Yeah, and the Mentor. Yeah.
The Blade Scout is very nice. I can tell you how good it is, but it is very good. The thing that it costs 1 and that you can bounce him and give him elusive again, it's good on attack and it's also good on defense because you can against other elusives you can play him on the turn your opponent's gonna attack and they never want to trade anything for you.
Right, and then you can chump you can chump late and with a like if they have a big elusive of some kind, you can chump with it.
You can also jump, but he stops the 2/1 from attacking. Like they are never gonna attack with the 2/1 into it, so it's gonna save you life. And then next turn you might even be able to bounce him and attack again, or not. Sometimes you don't need that shit.
I mean, I really liked it. I don't know why I stopped running that card because I really liked it in the closed beta in the Katarina deck, right? Like it just put that it would deal like four extra damage to your opponent on a turn that they couldn't foresee that because it's for 1 mana, right? For 1 mana they dealt 4 damage with the cat rally trigger. So yeah, I don't know. I myself have been playing a ton of Heimer because it's fun. I don't know. I like going down to 1 life and killing my opponent at the next turn with a 12 from 20 with a bunch of spells.
You're running Ezreal as well, right?
Yeah, I run both Heimer and Ezreal. I don't think you run, like in my opinion, I don't think you can just run the Ezreal, right? I know that some people are doing that, but I think Heimer is just so strong against certain decks that you have to run both. I don't see
I like the version of both. I think you can play just Ezreal, but I like both of them. I think it's nice. I think it's a very good deck, actually.
Yeah, it's just hard to play. I don't know. I'm stuck in gold. I'm sorry, can't do it. There's all my opponents always have it every single time.
You'll get there. It's,
we still
it's
have
it's a lot of grinding. You need to play a lot of games, especially after Diamond. It takes quite a while to get to Masters, but it's not that hard.
So, about this new set in Eternal, I know that.
Hold on, before the new
none of
set
us-
in Eternal, there's the most important question that I wanted to ask about Runeterra. Gozu.
Oh yeah.
Gozu. What about the Fiora deck?
The Fiora deck.
Yeah.
The Fiora deck is very good. I don't have the Fiora, so I haven't played it, but I think it's very good. Or at least it has the potential to be very good. I know people have done very well with it, and I know it can be good. I've done a lot of Fiora decks in Expedition, and usually they go to 7 wins. And that's Expedition. Most of the time I don't even have Judgment, I just have to attack with a million barriers, right? That's what you get in Expedition every time. when you go Fiora.
What about Vengeance?
I never get Vengeance. Oh, Vengeance, the card Vengeance.
The
7 cost
card, yes.
Um, I don't know. It was good. Now it's not as good. That's
Yeah,
how I
but
feel about it.
if Fiora becomes prevalent, everyone's just gonna start running Vengeance in every color comp and just murdering Fioras with Vengeances. Or bouncing her with Will of Ionia.
But I don't know if that's the way to go. Sure, you can stop her from killing you with their ability, like with the 4 kills. You can usually do that with Vengeance. But Vengeance is kind of clunky, and the Fiora deck runs Deny, right? They have Deny for your Vengeance. Uh, you can Will of Ionia is a bit better, I think, because if they have 3 kills, you can just wheel her to the end, and then it's back to on square 0, right? It's gonna have to kill another 4 units before they win, and it only costs 4, while Vengeance costs 7. I'm not a fan of Vengeance. I liked Vengeance. Like when the game first came out, I liked Vengeance. I was playing Control, Shadow Isles, and Freljord, and it was nice. The Ruination was nice. The Vengeance was nice.
That's exactly what I was playing too.
But yeah, after the first week, that was not nice anymore. Like my Ruinations, either they played around it, and I was like, I have a Ruination. They only have 3 units, and I'm dying. I have to play it. And then they play a bunch of units. Either that or they had Deny. So after people figure out how to play around Ruination, it just gets too clunky. And then the Vengeance is against aggressive decks. It's never good. It's gonna be good. It's occasionally good against Hecarim, and it's occasionally good against Fiora, I think. It might be good against Darius the time they play him, but I think it's too slow.
Yeah, you need to be gaining. Well, you don't even gain any tempo, but
What about Johnny's?
They need to be.
Sorry, go on.
What was that? Sorry.
I was gonna say, what about Johnny's favorite card? Teemo.
Oh, Johnny's favorite card. Well,
Teemo is bad.
If this is uploaded on YouTube, we'll post the meme down below.
So you do agree that Teemo is a terrible deck and it shouldn't be played?
Is that a Teemo deck?
You can't play Teemo because of the bunch of elusives, right? Like Teemo might be fine. I don't know. Like if you're against non-elusives, but the fact is that elusives is
a card. Wildfist is a very used card.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. The other half of the metagame is pretty equipped to deal with and Static Shock is in the Heimer decks, like or Mystic Shot, I guess. But
Mystic Shot, Wild Fist, everything kills Teemo. Like he's just too small.
Some people think that Teemo is good.
Like Johnny. Yeah.
Some people want to build Teemo decks and fill your deck with puff caps and watch you draw yourself to death.
I've lost to Teemo before. I've lost quite a few times against Teemo in Expedition. So,
yeah, I actually built last Expedition deck I built was a Teemo deck. I went 2-2, but like there was those 2 wins were satisfying. Let's say.
What do you think about Expedition?
Someone lost to Teemo then.
Gozu, what do you think about Expedition? And the draft format overall, like compared to other card games.
Okay, Expedition in Runeterra.
Yes.
I like it. I think it's very friendly to new players. Everyone's a new player now, so I guess that's fair. It's not hard to come up with a decent deck. There are a few things I don't like about it. Like, I hate the Elnuk decks. I feel like every time they play an Eldocon 5 with a 0 board and then they get 5 units, I'm pissed. So that's one thing I don't like. That comes from being able to have like multiple cards of the same. Like I've ended some drafts with 6 barriers, for example. If I'm running Fiora, I'm gonna pick all the barriers, and by the end of it, I have 6 barriers and 4 reposts, something like that. The same happens to the Elnux, and it's pretty disgusting. I just don't like the design on that card. I think it would be fine actually if there were more Elnux, so you could build around it in a constructive way, but the way it is, I
Feels
just
very high rolly.
why-
I'm
I just don't
I
see
haven't
why
played
they
it
made that.
yet. so.
What do you think about?
I've never played with it. I never played with troops. The 4/5 sometimes I end up playing it in expedition because it's just a decent body. But I've seen people do some nasty stuff against me. Like turn 5, they play troops, and then it's just 4/5s, and I'm like, what? Why?
Same, yeah. Theo has seen it happen to me as well.
Yeah, I was watching. I was in a Discord stream with Bard, and it happened, and all I was.
It was
I
very
heard a lot of
funny.
yelling.
Yeah.
I heard.
Well, do you-
I laughed a lot. Bard cried a lot. It was good. It was a good time.
What do you think about how free-to-player friendly the game is? Like, do you think
very
it's?
free to play?
Yeah.
I'd like some way to get those avatars.
Oh, wouldn't you now?
Pets. I would like some way to have them for free.
Wouldn't we all?
I'm tired of the drooling Poro. It's always drooling. So I'd like a way to get those for free. I don't really care that much about the board, but I mean, generally speaking, we think about the cards, right? And the cards are easy to get.
Yeah.
If you get the 3 diamond chests every week, I never even got a single champion in my diamond chest. That's something that annoys me.
I got
saw-
a
I
champion
saw Tony
wild card
G.
this week.
I saw Tony G post a print screen with 4 champions in those 3 diamond chests. and I
Yeah,
got-
Tony's the luckiest person alive. We'll have to.
I got 0 every time.
So
I never
which-
got
Which pet do you think is the coolest pet?
TX. I like TX.
Really? I think
Yeah.
that's the worst one.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I think that's the best one for sure.
I think
Yeah,
the
come
little griffin that chirps for justice is the coolest one.
That
The-
is pretty funny.
Yeah. You click on it.
I like the shark as well. The shark is nice.
I like the shark too. Like if I was playing an ephemeral deck, ephemeral, that's how you pronounce that word, ephemeral. If I
Yeah.
was playing an ephemeral deck, I would love to play with that shark and sing the baby shark song.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so anything else
the
about
silver- the
Runeterra
silver
that
one is pretty-
anyone wants to touch on? Any opinions before we?
I do like the fact that they're going to balance it once a month, and they're always going to be on a schedule, which is really nice. For example, next week we're going to get balance changes. I don't know what they're going to be. I don't know what kind of data we have. Right? Obviously, the metagame is changing quickly enough that, like, you don't want to do too much to affect the metagame. But I think that I wouldn't mind, for example, Hecarim being touched up a bit potentially. I think the cards like, yeah, sure, you can Vengeance it or Will of Ionia it or whatever, and that's huge temple loss. But I think that it just does too much, and if you don't have a response to it, it basically ends the game very, very quickly, right? For 6 mana. I'm fine with Rasa, for example, or Commander Ledros. I am honestly fine with that. All the Commander Ledros probably should be deal or rounded the other way. Depends on your perspective.
You want the glass to be half empty.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I like it that they're gonna do those balance patches, but we have to wait and see what they do with it. Like, I hope they don't do too much, but I hope they do something that at least changes the meta a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Now-
We'll see.
The problem will be is that they're not going to award refunds, right? So if your deck gets hit, like, because of how free to play it is, right? If your card gets hit, if your deck gets hit, you're shit out of luck, right? You can't, you won't be able to refund your cards. Then
I
that's
don't know if they'll do it or not. I actually don't know. But by
It's
now I have pretty much all the champions, and I haven't put a single dollar in the game. So if one of my decks is gonna get hit, I can just move to another one. So and I still have dust to craft 3 of any champion I want, which is probably gonna be Fiora now. Once I get tired of the Ash.
Like
But
Fiora, right?
I think Fiora
Everyone
is
will
very
know.
good. Yeah.
Another Fiora player. Shaking my head. No. I kind of want to play Fiora too.
The champions that I want and I still don't have is 2 Heimers, 3
Teemo.
Ezreals. I don't want Teemo. I have one Teemo. I opened one. I don't want that. Yeah, 2 Heimers, 3 Ezreal, 3 Fioras, and
Ashes? Do you have Ashes?
I have the
Oh, you said-
Ashes.
yeah.
I
said
kind of
you-
want to have one more Draven and one more Jinx, as I have 2 of each, and I feel like there's a deck to make with those 2 cards. I still haven't really put a lot of thought into it, but I feel like there's a deck. You can be very aggressive in those colors, and you have decent early game removal, so I feel like there's something there.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it on streams. The Draven Jinx stuff seems pretty fun. I don't know. Like I think that it's a little underpowered, right? Maybe it deserves to get a tiny bit of a buff. But
If you build the deck correctly, it can be competitive. I've done some drafts with those 2 champions. Usually 3 Draven, 1 Jinx, and it's always good. Like usually you want the 3-2 for 1 that can't block, the 5-4 for 3 that can't block, and you want vision. Vision with the Hex and Wheeling that just makes up for very disgusting attack steps. It's really disgusting. If you have a Draven, right? You have a Draven, you're attacking, they block with something. They're probably gonna block with something because they can just keep taking damage. Then you can discard an X for the Draven, discard the Vision, play Wheeling Dead, kill something. Your Draven just levels. The thing about Draven is that he gets overwhelmed after leveling. So after he levels, it's just a damage machine. Just kills very fast. So I haven't done that in Constructed yet. I've done that in Expedition, but it felt so powerful that I feel like there's gonna be a deck there.
yeah, I do find that a lot of stuff that's an Expedition kind of transfers over to some extent to Constructed because I mean you get powerfully consistent decks in Expedition. Sometimes you don't get the nuts, but you just draft Demacia. You still have the nuts even if you don't have a consistent deck.
Yeah, kinda.
Okay, the new
Much
Eternal
is a
set.
lot of consistent cards. Like they are big units. They have good buffs, so they have some card advantage as well.
Yeah.
Massey is nice. I like Freljord the most for draft. If I have the chance to pick an Ash or an Anivia, that's what I always do.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
okay.
Interesting strategy.
To think hard about it then.
Sometimes you don't have that option, right? They just give you Teemo, Karma, and fucking
Vladimir.
Darius. Or Vladimir, yeah. And then you're set.
I will never draft Vladimir ever again.
I've done well with Vladimir before. It's not as bad. It's not as bad. It's not good. It's worse than Garen. It's definitely worse than Garen, but yeah, I've done well with it.
Okay, the new set in Eternal. Any thoughts on that? Initial thoughts, impressions?
Well, there are some cards that I like. I'm looking at Damara, for example. I think it's a very interesting card. The unblockable while attacking sites is interesting. The ambush is also good for being able to play it after they play a site. And it's a 2-cost 3/1 ambush in Shadow.
Oh right, that card.
Legendary.
Yeah, it's unblockable while attacking sites. So any site that has less than 3 else, and I'm thinking like Garden, we're thinking Regent's Tomb. So you can just
Yeah.
play it at the end of the opponent turn and kill it, even if they have a blocker.
Xenon site, yeah.
The Xenon site as well. Yeah, for Expedition, that's probably gonna be a big one.
Well, Expedition, it's not. Xenon site's no Expedition.
Oh, is it not?
No.
Oh,
The smugglers aren't even in Expedition right now.
really? There are no merchants in Expeditions, just
Well,
the one
there's
cost
the-
spells.
Yeah, just the one cost spells.
Ah.
They're like tying everyone's hands behind their backs. They're like, this is what you get in your market, and that's all you get. No creativity. No.
You know, when I first looked at the one cost spells, I thought like, okay, this is nice because now you can have smugglers and also run some blazing salvo, for example, which is not a terrible card. It's a one cost deal to a unit, so it
Yeah, that
usually
card's the
get a
best
target
one
on
too,
there.
for sure.
And
one's the
you
best
can
card.
access the market with it. Like,
Don't you feel like it's
so
unfair to the rest of the colors that fire gets to have the like way better card than anyone else?
Do you think so? I don't think so.
You don't think
mean-
that anyone like okay, which is the second best card?
You mean
So
from this cycle? From that
Yes.
cycle?
Yes.
Crack
from
the Earth is
cycle.
pretty good because it
The
gives
shadow
you-
one is nice as well.
Deals
It
one
deals
damage.
Yeah, gains one. It's pretty good. Transpose is obviously.
I mean that's
I
half.
mean, trans-
that is half as good. It's one
It-
damage.
It's not half as good because the other one only hits units. Condemn hits sites. It hits the player.
Oh really? It hits sites.
Yeah.
Oh nice.
It's anything. It's a one cost Paras favor that doesn't get you power, but it does get you a card from market. If you have, oh, you can't get power from the market with this. It's a one cost card. So
Yeah.
you, oh, I guess you can get power. You can just get seek power from your market. You can get the other one that
Oh,
has
yeah.
decimate, the new one. So you can get power with condemn. You can't do that with the blazing salvo.
You can get a find the way with it. if
oh
you're-
yeah, you can get find a way with blazing salvo. That's true.
I stand
That's a
corrected.
good one to get too.
Yeah, it has echo.
Put it
Um,
back and stuff. I think that Crack the Earth is probably going to be underrated a little bit because it can find what 5 cost cards 5 search 5 cost. Oh no. Okay. Anyway, what cards can we find? But it makes a 1/1 in the FTS sacrifice, right? So
it makes a 1/1 that you can use for the Arc of Soul, so that's nice. That's the nice thing. You can have
Yeah.
Arc of Soul in your market, and you get one card from the market, and you play Arc of Soul out of the Cracked Earth. So
You can
you get
even
a 5
find,
card, and you can play it on 4 if you get to it with the Cultist, which is not that hard. If you play the Cultist on 1, it's probably doable.
you can find Nooki with the card.
Oh, you can find that's disgusting. That's disgusting.
It's a black. It is a black market, so you can't put those in the main.
Oh yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not as
You can
good.
find
But
Shenless
yeah.
Speed. You can find Shenless
Oh, that's right. You can find the wraths. Yeah. That's right.
Real talk.
Speed. You can
How
find
about Mill?
sites as well. You can
What
find
about
Garden. You can find Garden. You can find the Bastion.
Yeah.
Even though the Bastion is not that great, but yeah, you can find it.
It's a Xenon site. Yeah. I mean,
Site.
obviously the Xenon site's not in there. I believe Bastion though. The 3 faction sites are still in Expedition. I think the other sites are not though. I'd have to take a look. It's in Brave New World in Expedition. I can tell you that it's going to be hard to figure that format out, and we're also we don't have to figure it out yet, right? We're throne boys until next weekend probably.
Yeah. Yeah, Throne is a mess. So many cards now. It was
What?
already too many cards, and now.
What about the Mill deck though, Gozu? What do you think?
I don't know. I haven't played much Eternal. I don't know what the Mill deck is. If it's the one you were playing before,
I just
don't
made
know.
it. It's not a thing.
I watched like the end of one game. How am I supposed to
Well,
assess how good it is?
That's I have 100% win rate. in
Okay,
that.
I had 100% win rate with a 4-color deck that was winning with the thought.
No. Well, I played one game. That's what I mean. And you saw it.
No.
You saw the game.
I actually played 4 and had 100% win rate with that shit. I even posted it to Eternal Vampire.
Got that
I was looking now
clickbait
at
in there.
sites in Expedition. It's Arcanum, so we still have that one. The Fire Time Shadow. Maybe now it's gonna be useful. There's some more synergy with the new set. Profane Nexus.
If they restored Slumbering Stone to its former glory, FTS would be a very strong deck, I think. But of course, they're not going to do that. They're not going to admit their mistake, are they? Like, I think that was just a mistake of a nerf, right?
Which card?
Slumbering Stone. Cost 0-2, sacrifice, make a 2/2 flyer, but now it's draw a 2/2 flyer.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna fix that. It was a really big mistake in my opinion. I hate the card now. It was always nice.
Yeah, it was just an extremely useful sack fodder that allowed you to do a lot of things. Like, I mean, and now
In those colors, there are still ways to get sack fodder. Even in Expedition, you still have Nae's Choice. You have the Cracked Ears that we were talking about. It gives you a 1/1 and lets you access
the new
market.
display is really good. The display makes
Yeah.
3/1/1s. I
Okay,
think.
that gives you sack fodder for days. You basically only have the last sites. Then you have Den of Ordeals, Bastion, and the Curse Outcast Fortress, the cursed ones. Yeah, that's the only sites you have in Expedition.
Yeah.
You only get to run sites if you go for 3 colors. What about the power? What power do we have now?
Seats banners also strangers are in. So that might be something that you do. Yeah, seats banners as well as the new cargoes. There are new cargoes, and I guess the tokens. So that's the power that's available.
So now you have the seats, banners, and the insignias.
I don't think there's insignias. I don't know. I'm gonna.
Oh no, there is no banners. There's only insignias.
Yeah.
It's
Wait.
the same it was.
It's the insignias. I thought the banners were in. Who told me the banners were in? I trusted them.
Oh, Stormscar banner is in. Stormscar banner is in.
What?
Oh, that's interesting. So in Stormscar you have banners and seats. You don't have the insignia for some reason. But
That might be just.
in Skycrack you have insignia and seat. In Rakana we have insignia and seat. In Praxis you have seat and banner. So you don't have insignias in Praxis. Okay. They kind of mixed it up. Some.
Do you think this is a
combinations have
mess up,
insignia.
or do you think it's intentional?
No, I think it's intentional. It's intentional. So they basically want you, if you are on the 3 colors, on the new 3 colors, you probably rather run banners than insignias, because insignias is always going to be depleted. I think this is intentional. For example, Stormscar and
Right.
Praxis have banners, right?
So
And
the
that's,
FTS deck. Yeah.
Yeah, FTS deck. Also, Xenon does have banners. Let's check that out. Xenon.
Xena
No,
does
but
not have a banner.
Then Xenon has insignias. So you can still run like seats and some banners and not run the insignia, I guess. I guess they just give you the option of running banners over insignias, which is already better than you had before, because before you had to play basically all seats and token, and in the faction that you don't have token, you had to run the insignia. Oh, the other tokens are gone. So now you only have the new tokens.
Okay, but why do the restriction in the first place? Like, why not just enable both insignias and banners for everyone, and then you as the player choose? Would it be
I don't
so
know. They're-
unbalanced? Would it be so unbalanced if you used more banners in your deck? Really? Is that what's gonna break the game? People are gonna like.
It always does kind of break formats a little when there's too much. So you wanna kind of limit fixing a little. In the older formats, you want to have the higher power fixing, but in these formats, I think you
Well,
want to.
I've got some crests. I want some crests in Expedition. Like,
I mean, if they're gonna put in banners and stuff like that, they might as well go crest, right?
yeah, because for the 3-color decks, the crests are much better.
Yeah,
Well,
increases decision points and stuff. They are a little too powerful sometimes, but sure. I think if they are trying to push 3 faction archetypes in Expedition, then the best way to push them is to just include crests, right?
yeah, in a way they are, but at the same time, I don't know. The new merchants, right? Like the spell merchants, they don't push 3 colors. They help if you want to go monocolor actually, because now you can access the market with monocolor.
Right, but you can find. Yeah, that's true. But also, you can fetch any color of card as well.
That's also true. Yeah, that's also true.
You could have you could have that what's that one cost prism card if you really wanted to with these ones. You could always do that with any merchant, but
Oh, here's something nice you can do with the shadow spell. You can grab another one and go to the market again. Like for example,
no, you can't do that because they're black mark.
you can still do it, right? You don't run like for example, you run the shadow one,
you put it back.
and you run like one in the black market, the time one, for example. So you can play one, deal one to something, get the time one, and then change another card to get 5 cost cards from your market. For example,
That's weird.
that's possible.
What a combo! That's
It's
like
not
doing
really
a magic trick in
might-
front of
it
your
might be a
opponent.
combo- it might be a combo if you have something with Deco to put in the market that you really don't want, so you basically get 2 cards from your market. Actually, you just get one because you're putting one of them is just getting cracked here, so you just get another one.
Sounds like you're
Oh, well.
developing the new world champion deck right here.
I don't know. I don't know. It might be good eventually.
What do we think is going to be good in the new set? I mean, I can't say for sure.
I think
Right.
Mill is gonna take the world by storm. I think Mill has never been better, and
Obviously, it's never been better.
it's never been
You
better.
got actual tools.
Yes.
But like, is there, for example, a dragon's deck in there with like the Skylord and other stuff as
No,
well?
because you
or-
just play Essence Feast and it kneels before the power of the Mill. Essence Feast being that card that hits all the units for 1 damage that is life stealing and deadly. It's like, yeah, I'll pay 2 mana to clear the whole board and also gain a lot of life. No problem. No problem.
There's also
Wait, what?
I think these cards.
Okay.
the
I will
ones that
read. I'll read the card out to Gozo in case he hasn't seen it. Essence Feast, 2 mana, 1 primal, 1 shadow influence requirement. So Feln. Deal 1 damage to each unit. Lifesteal when the enemy player has 10 or more cards in their void, and Deadly when they have 20 or more.
Oh.
2 mana board wipe, but
So
it gains you
yes.
life.
It's a 2 mana board wipe that bumps your total
They have
life.
20 cards in the void.
Which if you're a mill deck is not the hardest thing to achieve.
You
Right.
do have to put things like malaise in your market, in your deck. Sorry.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, but Malaise is great because it plays extremely well with Essence Feast and with the finisher that they've given to Mill, which is Savage Incursion. Like, I am sort of
Wait,
memeing.
Malaise is great. Malaise is great.
Yes, it is in this deck because Savage Incursion is the card that deals 3 damage for 5 mana, draws you 3 cards, and makes 3 dragons on the board. But to do that, they need 20 cards in the
Yeah.
void. And so
I think,
sometimes
if you wanna do that, maybe you want to run the Tome. I think Tome is the best one.
I'm
You
running
don't have-
both. I'm running both.
Oh, okay.
All of it. Yeah, every single one, every single good mill card.
Yeah, I have all the good mill cards. Heartstoppers. Have you seen the Dark Talon Wyvern? Okay, this. It's a 4 mana 3/3 flying and ages. Okay, spectacular. Flying ages 3/3 unit. Come on. And when it hits the enemy, when it hits the enemy player, they discard cards until they discard the unit.
Okay.
It's spectacular.
Yeah, I mean most decks have like even incidental units, so you're not gonna like mill them out, but it's still pretty good.
Until the
It's still
time you
pretty
meet that control deck and you hit them and half their deck goes in their void, and everyone's laughing. Haha, so funny.
I don't
There's
know. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a 3/3 flying teaches, but if your opponent has a flyer, you can block it. It's not that like you can play bigger flyers for 3, I think.
Yeah, like the Huru pacifier. It'll
Yeah.
pacify that 3/3 Aegis. And then you're done. And then you're done. But
will not be pacified.
I'm really interested in trying out these things like Touch of Battle. It says like give one of your units deadly and then give a unit weapon or spell in your hand deadly. Like, can you imagine giving?
Oh, giving a spell in your hand deadly is nice.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like giving like Harbinger in your hand deadly, right? Like
Oh yeah.
Black Sky Harbinger. Like that's pretty nice. And also since it gives you can and anything that deals damage whatsoever.
You
Like
can
even
give
like
life steal. You can give life steal to Elstorm. That's nice as well. Or just give life steal to the one that deals 7 damage to every unit. And
yeah.
you
That's
deal
a nice one for sure. And you could give Overwhelm to that one and kill your opponent.
Oh, when does give overwhelm? Is that in
We
fire?
shouldn't be saying that. We shouldn't be saying that on. No, I'm just joking. I'm sure other people.
Whoa, that might actually be good. How much damage are you gonna push?
What
You
if-
have like
what if
one
you're-
one
Well,
that's gonna push
okay,
like
there's
20
this-
something.
There's that the 6 mana make all the units on the board 1/1 flyers. You just do that, and now you actually have the setup, right? Now you have the setup. Like you can just I think you only need like 4 units or something like that to kill them.
Unless your
maybe
opponent
3.
is running a control deck, though. And they don't have that many.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Sure. And then
You can run the primal unit that makes a bunch of 1/1s for your opponent. Oh, it's a time unit. It costs 2 for a 5/5 and it makes a bunch of 1/1s.
Oh.
All right. That's so fun. Did we just break the meta? Whoa, that would be super fun. And I did
Yeah.
craft
Oh,
that AoE.
That card, is it an expedition though? The Hydrangea?
Hydrangea, yeah, I don't know. I wish I could check
I can check.
the collection thing. Let's go to like make a new deck.
Oh, it is, yeah.
This? Okay.
Oh.
You can do that in
Oh, okay.
expedition.
Sweet.
It costs 5/5 as well.
Yeah.
It gives your opponent 4 1/1s.
So you hit them for 24 damage. If they have no other units. 6 overwhelms from each unit.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
that's not bad.
What color is the card that gives you overwhelm?
It's primal.
Oh,
Oh, it's
perfect.
primal.
So you just need to be a legion.
It's cost 3 though, so it's like not as good as the other one. But yeah. You just need to be a legion for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
The problem is
probably
that
want.
card. It's a card that doesn't really do that much for you if your plan is to win with that. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
can just put it in your market. Wait, does it cost 3? Okay, so you can have that which one's the justice one? So if you're in TJP, right? That's the control colors, right? You get Shenron Speaks in that, so you can actually have multiple board wipes, and then you can have the justice one, which can fetch that.
Shenra Speaks
the-
is in
the Justice,
expedition still?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
it is.
okay. Cool.
Yeah, it is. So the justice one that makes a unit flying, right? It fetches the one cost the market card, the spell market spell,
Right.
and you fetch three faction. Anyway,
What about, do you overwhelm yourself?
you can't overwhelm yourself. It gives a spell in your hand.
Yeah, but no. Solar Blast deals 7 damage to each unit. If you have a unit and you kill your unit, do you overwhelm yourself with the rest of the damage?
I don't even know. That never happened before for me.
Asking the real questions over here.
Yeah, that's a real question.
I don't think so. I think overwhelm does. Wait, let's find a card with overwhelm, and it doesn't deal damage to the enemy.
Oh, when this it's an enemy unit, leftover damage is dealt to the enemy player or site.
Cool.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it doesn't hit you. Imagine if
So,
you have to do the math of whether you're gonna kill yourself with your own combo. That would be. Well, I can say that I'm excited for that new set. Dang it. I didn't want to be excited because I really like Runeterra and I was looking forward to being a Runeterra guy. But this new set, if there was one archetype that could really make me go like, I want to play this game, it's Mill. I know it's awful. I know people hate Mill.
It's not about hating mill. It's I mean, it's the you know when you mill your opponent, you're milling. You're just their life total is just equal to their deck now.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I'm aware.
That's what it is.
It's
Yeah.
the Fiora. It's the Fiora of Eternal. It is the alternative way of victory that doesn't rely on playing the actual game. Like you're playing a meta
the
game.
last word is the real
Fiora, yeah.
yeah, the real Fiora of Eternal.
I mean, just in
that was the funniest thing in the entire game. This bug was the funniest thing in the entire game. They never it's still it doesn't work like this anymore. But the last word dealt 999 damage. It didn't actually kill your opponent. It didn't actually have deadly to players. It just dealt 999 damage. That was how it was coded. So if you actually had 999 life plus armor, right? Plus armor, you actually could live through a last word hit. Don't ask how we figured this out, all right? But there was a lot that was some that was great.
So
What about this card? What about this card? Dying Sun Tapestry. When you play a curse and a relic in the same turn, you just play it from your hand for free. And at the end of your turn, give one of your exhausted units +1/+1 and overwhelm. Oh, it's bad, right? Bad. Okay.
Dying
You can
Sun
play this-
Tapestry?
Yeah, you can play this for free very easily. Like if it's a
sure.
cursed relic, you just play this from your head for free, and every turn your unit is gonna be growing. It's probably bad because they don't grow that much.
It's but the effect on it isn't very good though.
Yeah, that's. It's
If
too
it had a
slow.
powerful effect. There is a really powerful card that oh geez, is it it's a Fire Time, I think.
I was thinking about the Forbidden Rider Outcast. If they don't have a unit, you just play a Cursed Relic, and then you play this for free, and it becomes a 4/4. Oh, I guess it doesn't because it had to be exhausted. I guess it doesn't really. You had to have another unit on the board, and even then, just a +1/+1. Yeah, sucks. Moving on.
Gozu, what are you planning to do with your card game future? I think that's I would really like to know, because I'm having troubles myself.
Also, I'm planning to keep playing. Basically, I'm gonna keep playing Runeterra and see how the game goes. I'm gonna keep playing Eternal. I'm gonna keep streaming.
Don't you feel that playing two card games that are so different from each other will?
They're not that much different than each other.
Really?
I mean, if before competition, like you focus on what you're competing in, you'll be fine.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Like I've been playing Runeterra for like 2 weeks, and then I went to play Eternal, and I was doing a lot of mistakes because I wasn't seeing the double blocks. I wasn't. There was one game I just gave away my opponent. So this is what happened. My opponent had nothing. They had nothing in his hand, and I had casting to shadow. Basically, I was at 4. I passed the turn. They played. I also had a little unit on the board. Like it was 2 turns little, so I would hit for 7, then I would hit for 8 because it was the Zulta Loyalist, right?
Okay.
And they drawn the choice, the one that gets a dragon for the void or kills a unit. My opponent messed up. He didn't kill my unit. He went for the dragon when I had 1 card in my hand that could very well be removal, and it was removal. Okay, but I only had 4 power. So I knew what he had. He had Eclipse Dragon that would kill me. I could attack for 7 this turn, and the next turn I would kill him. So he would play the dragon because he got it from the void to kill me the turn after, right? So that was pretty obvious. And what do? I top deck the 2-cost 1/4 that lets you decimate for free, and I play that, and I cry because then I didn't have power for casting to shadow. I just considered that because I knew his hands, right? So
Yeah.
I just gave him that game, and I did that because I've been playing too much Runeterra, and I thought I would have power to
But
Power on their
just,
turn.
You're just
Yeah.
proving my point, right?
No, but that happened. But like I was saying, if you play a little bit more Eternal
happen
for
once,
competition, like you play some 20, 28 games before you actually go to play your real matches for the ECQ, for example, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. That's not gonna happen. You get you get back in shape fast.
Sure, it's
I mean,
like
the proof
riding
of
a
that is
bike.
Bruce by God. Like Bruce by God, they've been playing.
Bruce I got is a golden
long
god though.
Then he came back and won the ECQ. So
True.
there you go.
True.
I think it's fine. It's not gonna matter that much if you actually practice a little bit before playing the tournament. It'll be fine.
So before we carry on with these kinds of conversation, I do want to talk about one more card from the new set. My apologies.
Go
This
ahead.
was 6 costs, single fire, single time. Unlock the vault. Spell. Play a relic weapon, a non-weapon relic, and a non-relic weapon from your void.
This is like they were trying to make the most confusing card ever written.
Oh, you get a
So you
relic
told me that I told you that you told me that I told you that.
weapon relic and
A
the
non-relic.
non-relic. So a weapon that you can play your unit, a weapon for your avatar, and a relic that is not a weapon. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Wordplay, Bard.
But they need to be in your void.
Yeah, they need to be in the void, so things have already had to have happened. I don't necessarily think this is a combo card, although, I mean, I'm going to
Although
think
you
about the
could
combo
mill
potentials.
yourself and just play
Yeah.
Sword of the Sky King plus Martyr's Chains and Rod.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be a thing now?
I don't know. It's not in the right colors for that. Because the good relics,
Well,
I think they are in Justice, and the mill is not in Fire Time or Justice.
I mean, you're gonna play an FTJ version of this deck, right? Like that's definitely how it works. And yeah, there's a lot of relic weapons. I checked it out. Like if you type in relic weapon for Expedition, whew, there are a lot of relic weapons in Expedition. There's definitely probably an armory deck, and maybe Unlock the Vault's part of it. Who knows?
Unlock the Vault might be very good card. I think it's actually probably stronger in Throne, because you also want a good relic to get. I think, and that's probably Martyr's Chains, and I don't think there's any other one that comes close. But I think it's in the wrong colors.
Chains is in Expedition.
What?
Yeah,
Is it?
and Pit.
Oh,
I think.
Oh, that's a nice one.
So do you guys think they were smoking when they made Unlock the Vault, or do you think it's just?
It was probably crack.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, how
For-
high, how many shrooms did you have
Yeah, I
before
was thinking the LSD. Like, look at the picture, even. Like, I mean, look at this.
before you were like, hey man, what if we make a card that plays a relic weapon, a non-weapon relic, and a non-relic weapon? What did you say? A non-relic weapon, like.
Yeah, what did you say? Can you repeat that?
There's no way someone explained that card and the other person went, yeah, I get that. No, like it had to be explained a bunch of times. It's a funky card for sure. I love it. Good spot.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's like that card from Magic. Oh man, that's a hard one. It's like you kill 2 units that are the same color, but it says it like in the same in some insane way. It's from Apocalypse or Invasion or one of those cards. I don't know. Can't remember it.
I miss the jokey expansions in Magic. I wish stuff like this.
Yeah. I have some Unglued. Actually, I opened up a box of Unglued.
Wow.
My youth.
I had
great
some
set.
too. Yeah, it's a great set indeed. Well, Gozu, I want to ask, where do you see card games going? Like, what do you think Eternal Championships are gonna be like in the future? What do you think? Do you think Runeterra is gonna grow to be the same size of an esports that League of Legends is?
Oh, probably not the size of League of Legends. I think they would be very, very lucky if they get the game to the point of Hearthstone right now. That's even that's probably not gonna happen, to be honest.
Think so?
We'll see. Yeah. I think it's hard. Hearthstone has a lot of years in the market already. It still has a lot of popularity, and they have a real esports scene, right? Like they're investing millions every year for their pro players, right?
But isn't that exactly what? Sorry, isn't that exactly what Riot wants to do? To like one up Blizzard in every way, including basically overshadowing them.
I don't think Riot has ever clashed with Blizzard really. Like Blizzard is more into RPGs. Like their moneymaker is like WoW.
Yeah, and Riot is now making an MMO and RPGs.
Oh yeah, that's right. They are.
But they
And a
started
fighter.
They started
Lol.
with a MOBA, and Blizzard never made a MOBA. The only MOBA they made, it was a disaster, which is Art of the Storm. So that's the only time they tried to make a MOBA. I don't know. I don't think they are really directly competing with Blizzard. Like they are both big game industries. I think Blizzard is probably a bit bigger. They have more titles. They have more years in the market. Riot has a really big one, but they don't have anything else. Like
I think
Riot
they're
has, like,
literally
League of
fighting
Legends.
for the same customers, though.
Are they, though?
Yeah,
I don't
especially in the card game industry. Like you play one of the games. They want. I think the reason that they've made gaining the cards so easy is because they want to incentivize people to roll from their other card games. They don't want you thinking, hey, I have this huge collection in Eternal, or I have this huge collection in Hearthstone. I don't want to, leave it behind and then have to grind a new collection. And that's why they're like, well, we're just going to shower them with cards and make money. They're basically doing the business decision of trying to poach the players. That's why it's so easy. I mean, there needs to be they're not just going to be nice to people because it's nice.
No, that makes sense. It's a business model, and they're trying to make money from the pretty things that they sell, right? Rather than the cards. Yeah. And Eternal is pretty much the same. Like, if you just want the cards in Eternal, you don't need to spend any money. I barely spent any money on Eternal, and never had problem getting the cards. So, and actually, most of the new card games are like that. I think Hearthstone is the big one that still is asking players for money to get the cards. The other card games that I've played, they are very generous. So, I think that's the way card games are going, and probably because because of what you said, players that already spent money in another game are not gonna want to just spend more money and leave the cards that they paid for behind and just spend more and more money in other games.
Yeah.
So
Unless you make it easy for them.
yeah, unless you make it in a way that people can actually get the cards for free.
Yeah. I just like I was looking for any reason not to like Runeterra, honestly. Like, cause I really don't like Riot. For
No, you weren't. You just
reasons
wanted.
galore. No. Genuinely, I really didn't want to like Runeterra. Like before I played it for the first time, I was like, man, I hope I hate that game. Because I didn't want to play anything by Riot again, but I love it. I love it so much. I can't stop playing it.
So thank you very much for being our guest on our first podcast, Gozu, and it was there was some good conversation. There was conversations. All right.
All right, man.
All right.
And thank you for having
Talk to
me.
you guys.
Hey,
Nice.
Talk to you guys later.
Yeah.